Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Warframe video. We're gonna be covering Nidus and that augment Larva Burst. Now, as far as with this augment, I understand it. I know what it was intended and whatnot. But after seeing what happened yesterday, survival, 5 minutes in, a guy in there decided, you know what, I'm gonna try this augment. I want to see how good it really is. And what he just couldn't understand, it's like he was so hard-headed, and I'm trying to tell this man, Larva Burst is not meant for endgame. They made it specifically to take out low-tier enemies, as you can see pretty much on the build I have right here. Because again, I didn't really change nothing. The only thing I took out of this was rage. I had rage in there, so it was technically like this. But since when the augment came, I just went and I flipped this. That's all I did. Okay. So as you can see, Larva Augment, recast Larva to detonate and deal 300 toxin damage in a 5-meter radius. Not really 5-meter radius, 5-meter range. Now this damage stacks for every enemy grabbed by Larva. Keep in note, it says every enemy grabbed in Larva. Now, a lot of people have used Nidus. We all know how Larva acts. But they will get to a point where Larva just... it will only pick up so many enemies, and it will get to that situation where an enemy will just walk right by Larva and just keep shooting you while all the other enemies will get pulled in, and so on and so forth. Now I'm gonna take like 9 enemies. These dudes will be level 25. I'm just gonna put it like that, level 25. All right, I'm gonna throw them in there. Now these dudes, okay, they're there. So I'm gonna go out here, put this down. And as you'll see it, pull them in, recast it again, boom, exploded. They're all dead. That's technically what it's supposed to do. So again, all the enemies that were being pulled in here, it got stacked. So again, just this guy left, pull him in, recast it again. He's still alive, because again, it stacks. So you're talking about 300 right there times how many enemies being pulled in by Larva. All right, so I had 9 there. So let's just do the calculation right here. I got 5 enemies. They're level 20 or whatnot. So again, let me simulate that. You're talking about 300 times 5 of them dudes. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. So you are talking about 1,500. That's how much damage you're supposed to be doing to these guys, based on how many are being pulled in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull them in. Recast it again. Boom. But again, since these enemies have armor on, you have to rely on the toxin, and then there it goes. Bombs your uncle. They're already dead. Alright? So you're talking about 300 times the 5 enemies that were here. So I technically did 1,500 to them. Of course, the toxin proc and all that stuff practically finished them off. Here is where things get really, really dicey. Alright? I'm going to put out those same 5 enemies. But this time I'm going to scale that level. Alright? I'm going to scale it up to, I believe, I'm going to get up to 150 because I'm going on for my mastery here. Alright? So they're level 150. Put them back out there. Now remember, those guys I were killing, they were level 25. So now we got these guys here. Pull them in. Detonate them. This thing is so useless in endgame, and I was telling this guy, he just wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen. He just kept doing this over and over and over and over again, and I'm like, bro, this is not gonna work. I mean, you can keep doing this to get your stacks up, recasting again. He just kept doing this over and over and over again, and I'm like, bro, just stop the madness. See, even with that, you know, toxin proc on him, he was like, yeah, I'm doing stuff, bro. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. This thing is so worthless in Endgame. Look, you can barely see that their armor has been trickled down. Look at this. How many times I've recast this? How many times I've recast it? I mean, the augment is so useless in Endgame. All you're doing is just keep ragdolling them. They'll keep going up, booping up, and they'll fall down again. They'll keep getting right back up with all that toxin on their ass. And on top of that, you can see it had a viral proc on them. So again, it gives you that guaranteed viral proc on them. Whoever's within radius of the blast will give them that viral proc. So again, you'd be like, okay, that's cool and all that stuff. But again, see, he got hit with that that corrosive proc. Some of them, they'll get hit with a viral. I mean, again, and the only reason why his health trickled down is because, again, I reduced his armor. So again, just by doing that, it's going to be able to do some form of damage. And on top of that, I used the Ignis and whatnot on him. So again, I was trying to salvage whatever was left of him. But it's like, bro, come on. This ain't gonna work. So again, I'd rather do this, reduce it, blast them, pull them in again, do this. I mean, if he was doing this and reducing their armor and whatnot, I'd be fine. But keep relying on the bursting animation of it. Keep going like this over and over and over again. And on top of that, like life support kept going down on us yesterday, and I'm like, bro, Larva Burst is useless in Endgame. It was designed to take out low tier enemies, not high level enemies. So he had to go and look this up. He was like, let me see if you actually tell the truth. I'm like, you have not been paying attention, have you? He has not been paying attention. So again, even at level 30, I'm just gonna go off of this. Level 30 enemies. Let me see. Alright. Let me get my energy up there. Even level 30 enemies, I believe. Against these bombards. Let me see. Put them up. Boom. See? You see their health start going down. Boom. Toxin. Own them. Boom. See? There they go. They're dead. But again, you're talking about gathering up a whole bunch of enemies in order for the stack of the damage to even do any form of damage. All right, you could even do this. I'm gonna put them back at the same level, but I'm gonna throw out like 20 of these dudes. So I'm gonna kill these guys, and I'm gonna throw out 20 of these guys. 20 of them. All 20 of them should be at level, at level 150. Alright. So I'm going to try and bring them all in together. And I'm going to see how much. I don't think they'll actually will try to come all close to me and whatnot, just because, again, they're so far and whatnot. But it's like, dude. Even with all of these enemies, and it's like, they may not even come within range of my larva, but some of them will try to veer themselves towards me. Okay, see, like all these guys right here. Now look, pull them in and whatnot. Boom. See, even if you want to pull all of them in, it will only pull but so much. And then you explode them, the damage is not sufficient enough to take out these guys. And see, look, it will not pull all of them in and to blast them. The toxin procs will still trying to do work and whatnot. So again, you have to facilitate with this. And you see exploding them, pulling them in again, and all this stuff. You know, the toxin will try to do as much as it can, but as you can see, their armor is so strong, it's so up there, that this is not gonna work. It's so useless. It's just like a huge clump right there, which looks funny on paper, but if you go into a mission with this, seeing this, it's like, you'd be like, dude, you're not killing anything. That augment is so worthless. Stop doing this. It's like, nah, bro, you ain't gonna be doing nothing with this. So you have to facilitate. You gotta do this, reduce their armor. You gotta do all of this, and it's like, It's so trivial, man. It's such a huge push to try and do any form of work. So as you can see, this augment is literally designed to take out low tier enemies. You cannot deal with all of this. You just can't. And you won't. And I know somebody out there is gonna be like, oh, I actually did it and whatnot. The real question I'll ask you is this: how long did it take you to kill all those guys while you gotta keep recasting, doing all this nonsense, pull them in? See, for me to be efficient with this, I'll reduce their armor with a whole bunch of corrosive procs on them. And as you can see, going all in with my corrosive procs, explode them like that, pull them in. This is more efficient. But here's, like I said again, you have to facilitate with this, because it's like, bro, see, once you reduce that armor, you gotta facilitate, explode them. See, there was a toxin proc right there of like 1200. I don't know if you were looking at it, but you gotta do this. You can't rely on the augment itself, because you're not gonna be killing anything. You're gonna keep doing this over and over again, and by the time you keep doing this, you know, life support is gonna be it's gonna be gone, and you're like, damn, bro, like we couldn't sustain life support. Like, yo, I was trying to take him out with my larva, with my Larva Burst. Like, hell no, that ain't working. So you gotta do this. You gotta facilitate. You gotta help out the augment by doing this. Reduce their armor. Cast back again, reduce the armor again, boom, explode them. I think the other dude's probably dead. He's the last one there. You know, you gotta keep doing this in order to have any form of results. And then boom, bombs your uncle, he's dead. So you have to really facilitate and really push and push. Using your weapons, use everything in your arsenal, helping out the augment, so that when you do recast it again and it does the explosion, inflict them with that toxin, pull them in, use your weapons, and so on and so forth. Recast it again, explode, keep redoing the process. That's like the only way for it to be efficient. But as far as survival, endgame, going up against level 400 level enemies, Larva Burst is useless. Straight up useless. You could go as far as to say it's straight up garbage. Because you're going off of the aspect of pulling as much enemies as you can. And again, it's not going to be pulling all enemies. Because you see, there was a guy behind me. He wouldn't even get pulled in. So it has a limit. What that limit is remains to be seen. But as you see right there, man, it's like that the damage stacks. But also the damage is not sufficient when you're going up against bombards, heavy gunners. You may get away with it with ancients because, again, they have no armor. But it's still going to take you some time to kill them anyway. So use this at your leisure. It's best to go up against low tier enemies and kill them that way. But it's like, oh, you killed level 15, level 20 enemies. Or best case scenario, you killed level 30. So what? You could do that with garbage weapons in this game. Kill them. So, Larva Burst, it's there. You can have fun with it. But going endgame with it, you're just wasting